This is The Informed Traveler on News Talk 770. I'm Randy Sharman. Trying to figure out car insurance when renting a car can be a very confusing issue, but a very important one. And to try and help us out with car rental insurance is Steve Romaine. He's the co-founder of one of my favorite websites, IHateTaxis.com. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Randy. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Let's try to muddle our way through the complicated issue of car insurance. So let's start by doing this scenario. I'm walking up to the counter, and obviously at some point I'm going to be offered car insurance. What should my answer be?
Your answer should be that you've already done your homework.
Good one.
Yes.
So what kind of homework do we need to do?
Okay. Well, first of all, when you walk up to the counter there, they're going to, you're going to get your car and everything else, and they're going to ask you about the insurance. Mm-hmm. And, if you haven't done your homework beforehand, you really only have one choice, and the choice is, yes, I'll take it, and you'll look at the price of it, and you'll be rather shocked probably at how much they're going to charge you for the daily rate on your rental car.
Exactly.
So what I recommend to people is before you go rent that car, have a look to see if you're already covered, or can you get coverage. And so a lot of people assume that, I think I have coverage on my credit card or maybe on my home auto insurance or something like that.
Yeah.
And you may already have that coverage. So you may not need to say, yes, I'll take the extra coverage. You might be triple covered already. Mm-hmm. So what people should do is if you're planning a trip somewhere is, first of all, pull out that piece of paper that comes maybe every year with your credit card statement.
Yeah, in the very small
it ends
print.
The recycling bin,
Yes.
with the fine print. I actually keep a copy of that, and I put it in my little travel folder. Probably one of the few people that do. And I pull it out, and I'll actually read the terms and conditions of what I'm covered for a car rental. And, of course, like everyone else, you've probably thrown it away. Mm-hmm. Go to your bank's website and have a look, and you can pull up the details, or you can give them a call and say, hey, I'm thinking about renting a car in somewhere, tell them where you're going. Am I covered, am I not? And they'll explain, what you're covered for and what you're not covered for under your credit card. So, and that's the first step.
Okay. Well, all right. So now let's assume, not all credit cards are equal, right?
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
And it really depends on the credit card you have and the bank that issues it. And, for example, on most credit cards, if you have a car rental clause on there, it covers some of the insurance. It almost always covers your collision insurance, and that is if you damage the car by hitting something. Mm-hmm. It may or may not cover the comprehensive, which might be vandalism to the car, or the car catches fire, or something along those lines, and it almost never covers your third-party liability, which is probably the most important one of all to have.
Oh, yeah.
So that's important to note. And also with the credit card insurance is that it may not cover you for pickup trucks or buses or camper vans or motorcycles or anything else. It only really covers minivans, cars, and SUVs. And there's usually an upper cap on how much, if you decide to go rent that Ferrari in Las Vegas, you probably aren't covered with your credit card.
So, okay, I'm getting the impression that there's a lot of ifs and buts in there. So what about your own car insurance from your car you have at home, perhaps?
Well, that's right. And a lot of policy, it really depends. It really depends on the policy that you have. And again, this is the fine print, or when you go in to renew your auto insurance every year, they may say to you, would you like rental car coverage or blah, blah, blah. Or just give them a call on the phone or go down to your insurance agent and ask them, I have my policy here. Am I covered? And the answer might be, yes, you are with the following conditions. Mm-hmm. Or no, you're not, but you can add it for $10 a year. Mm-hmm. Or it might be, well, where are you going away? Okay, well, we can add that for, so many dollars per day, and this is what it covers. Now, this may be very, it's a lot cheaper than getting it from the car rental agency.
Yeah.
But there might be other things, such as, my $300 deductible also applies, or, if I have an accident with that rental car, my insurance rate's going up next year. So those are things you have to really watch out for as well. So, again, it's just maybe spending a little time before you leave home on your vacation to grab these documents, bring them along with you, and read what they cover and what they do not cover. And the other option I'm going to throw out here that some people don't know about is, you go to rent the car at the car rental place, and they tell you about the insurance. Yeah. There's nothing stopping you from saying, I'm going to go across the street. I see there's an insurance agency there. I'm going to go ask them what their prices are. And I've done this a few times. And, you walk across the street and, for $20, you're good for the next 3 days versus, $39.95 a day.
Exactly. Well, some of the insurance rates and premiums for car rental is higher than the actual rental itself.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is, and it's a real moneymaker for the car rental agencies. But it's a convenience, right? I don't want to do my homework. I'll just go there and I'll pay the price. And sometimes you have to do that. And a couple of years ago, I rented a van in New Zealand, and my credit card didn't cover me. My home insurance didn't cover me, so I just bought it directly from the rental company itself, which was fantastic. And it was a little steep, but I didn't really have much choice.
Yeah.
I couldn't find another provider, and what they offered was pretty good, and it allowed me to do things such as go on dirt roads, which wasn't allowed otherwise, things like that. So sometimes you have to weigh your options of where you're going and what you're renting, and maybe just buying it directly from the car rental agency is appropriate, but you do your homework first.
Yeah, and I guess, like you mentioned, it depends on where you are. I guess it's different renting a car in New Zealand versus, I don't know, for a couple of days in Las Vegas. Yeah. So, again, just a few minutes before you leave and have a poke around and see what you have already for existing insurance. And what I usually recommend to people is you probably are pretty good if you pay with your credit card. You decline the insurance. This is a condition of the credit card coverage, is you must decline the insurance offered by the rental agency. And there's a little checkbox usually on the contract that says, I decline insurance. And you pay for the entire rental with your credit card. So if you book it online already and you put down deposit and then you pay the balance when you check in at the airport, everything has to go on the same credit card to get that coverage. Plus check your at-home coverage with your current automobile, and that probably covers you as well. So between that, you'll probably get all the necessities of the insurance, which would be your collision, your comprehensive, and hopefully a third party in there as well for a few $1 million. Very good. Do your homework, in other words.
Yes.
Steve Romaine, co-founder of IHateTaxis.com. There is a wealth of information on that website. It's one of my favorites. Again, IHateTaxis.com. They don't really hate taxis, but it's a cool name. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks a lot, Randy.